How's it going, guys? Dragonstar Production here, back with another What If video, and in this edition of Dragon Ball What Ifs, we'll be covering a What If featuring everybody's favorite Dragon Ball character, being Mr. Popo. And I believe that this What If will be rather easy to do, and I believe that Mr. Popo would have an impact on Dragon Ball immensely in fighting and his teachings. That being said, let's hop straight into What If Mr. Popo was a Z Fighter. And our story starts off with Commies Lookout during the training gap awaiting Vegeta and Nappa. During this time, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu are all training together, while Mr. Popo, on the other hand, notices that Commies has very little action in prepping the others for the Saiyans. In fact, Mr. Popo gets quite annoyed because Commies' small involvement, that Mr. Popo actually takes it upon himself to help the others in training. Mr. Popo would also outmatch the Z Fighters in power in the beginning, so this does mean that everybody on the lookout would get a power increase going into the fight with the Saiyans. Mr. Popo begins to get a bit distant from Comi, and Comi even asks Popo what is wrong, as Popo just replies, not wanting to lie to his friend, stating, "Comi, you are a dear friend, and I cherish our friendship. But you are also the guardian of this planet, and it is your job to stand up and take care of the Earth. And you've stepped aside and let Goku and all his friends fight threats like Raditz and your other half, King Piccolo, and I'm tired of being an innocent bystander. That's why I'm here and going to help defeat the Saiyans at any cost to protect this planet that you're supposed to be guarding." Comi is a bit taken back by this, but he's in shock to hear these words. But he also understands that Mr. Popo isn't lying to him. In fact, Comi knows that Popo is spot on in what he is saying, but Comi still contemplates whether or not he should join in the fight. But this only makes Popo more irritated, but instead of trying to fight with him, Popo just walks away and continues his training session as tension between the two grow on the lookout. That being said, we have now reached Vegeta and Nappa's arrival, but first let's hop into some power levels just so we know what they're going into against the Saiyans. Mr. Popo leads the group with a whopping 2500, Tien is right behind him at 2300, while Krillin is not far behind at 2150, and then there is Yamcha, who sits at Krillin's power level in the canon story, which is around 1770. And then, if you're curious, that Gohan and Piccolo remain the same as their canon counterparts because, well, their training never changed. They still did the same thing. That being said, let's jump straight into it. Nappa and Vegeta first asked for the Dragon Balls because that's really the only reason why they came, not giving a crap about Raditz and him dying. Nappa would then throw down the Cybermen like he does in canon, and Yamcha would be the first to step up, saying that he can fight them, insisting that he can handle them. But a trend that we will see in this What If is that Popo refuses to let anyone fight alone. The odds are better if you team up on someone. So instead of Yamcha fighting all the Cybermen alone, even though he does stand a better chance than what he did in canon, Mr. Popo still aids him in fighting the Cybermen. Between the two, they make quick work of the little green runts without even being touched. Nappa seems rather impressed, but Vegeta still has his arms crossed, not changing his posture at all. Instead, Vegeta slowly turns his head and tells Nappa to stop standing around and being lazy and actually do something. Nappa then listens to Vegeta and charges straight towards Mr. Popo, who had the highest power level of the group after Nappa read the power level. Nappa catches Popo right across the jaw, knocking him out of the fight instantly. But before Nappa could turn back around, Tien and Krillin shot rapid ki blasts while Yamcha charges in with a Wolf Fang Fist. Yamcha hits his Wolf Fang Fist, but this does very little damage to Nappa. In fact, it only angers the big giant, so he grabs Yamcha and bear squeezes him just to throw him onto the ground, causing him to break a couple of ribs, and Yamcha was out for a little while, just like Popo. Nappa then changes his attention, and he locks eyes on Krillin. But before Nappa could see anything going on, Tien would jump up into the sky and hit a solar flare, blinding Nappa. Krillin then powers up with a Kamehameha, nailing Nappa dead on. Nappa, being off guard, is actually taken aback by this Kamehameha and is on the verge of death. Vegeta, seeing that Nappa is almost about to get beat by some humans, so Vegeta then walks over and kills Nappa just like he does in the canon story. However, before Vegeta could get his hands dirty, Tien then starts shooting from above his tri-beams, which, thanks to Mr. Popo training, Tien won't die from this attack, but he will be very drained of stamina after shooting this off. This works for the Z Fighters' advantages because Tien is managing to hold off the stronger Saiyan Vegeta until Goku had finally arrived on the scene. Goku and Vegeta then fly off to the Wasteland just like they do in canon, except this time it is Krillin, Piccolo, and Gohan who are all going as well, with Popo, Yamcha, and Tien not far behind afterwards because once they got knocked out, somebody came along to help them. Saved the party a little earlier. This being Yajirobe, who comes in and saves everyone with some sensu beans while Vegeta runs off to fight with Goku. Speaking of Vegeta and Goku fighting, their fight takes place pretty much as normal as Goku's Kaioken eventually pushes him, the Saiyan Prince, into having to go to his Ozaru form. Vegeta has to make a fake moon, and then boom, there we go. Vegeta is now into the Ozaru form, and he clearly overpowers the group. But Mr. Popo reminds everyone that they have to work together in order to win this fight. Gohan, Krillin, Yamcha, and Mr. Popo all charge in at different angles, while Piccolo stayed behind to charge his special beam cannon, and Tien builds one of his triform techniques in the air, trying to hold it as long as he can. This seems like very little offense to an ape, but it was enough time for Goku to get back onto his feet and help as well. So Goku joining into the fight gives Krillin the spot that he was looking for. Goku then takes Krillin's spot, so Krillin shoots around Vegeta and throws a full power Destructo Disc, cutting off Vegeta's tail. Vegeta then goes back to a regular state just to be hit by a special beam cannon and a tri-beam, killing him right then and there, ending the Saiyan saga with absolutely no deaths, well, besides the two people who just died, as in Nappa and Vegeta. Yeah. So this does affect the next saga. Well, for starters, no Namek. Secondly, because they would have no need to go to Namek, this does leave us with Goku not going Super Saiyan or learning instant transmission, and Frieza wouldn't be a threat, at least not yet. That means that we would have a big gap to fill in between here and the start of the Android saga. So that being said, everyone takes up training as Mr. Popo brings everyone to the lookout for extra training as well. Everyone is pretty much able to grow pretty strong, but Goku, Piccolo, and even Gohan won't be as strong as canon. However, the entire group is able to get much closer in relationships with each other and even learning each other's techniques. Well, all but one relationship gets stronger. Comi and Popo still have high tensions between each other, but Popo calmly approaches Comi every day, addressing the issues in front of him. Comi then just shrugs him off until one day Comi finally looked at his oldest friend, Mr. Popo, and said, "You've been right this entire time, Mr. Popo. I apologize for my stubbornness. I vow from here on out to protect Earth, and the best way to do that once more is to become the nameless Namekian. It is time for me and Piccolo to become whole again. The Earth needs it from the threats like the Saiyans." Piccolo overhears this and isn't so sure at first. In fact, he's learning more to the side of no at this time. But everyone changes when Trunks arrives and informs everybody of the threat to come of the androids. That being said, I'm not going to do any more of this video. I'm going to be wrapping it up right here. I really hope you guys enjoyed. This was a blast to write, and I can't wait to write part 2. So make sure you smash the like button. Like when I say smash it, I mean smash the like button if you want to see part 2, because I have a lot of fun stuff in store for part 2. Alright guys, that being said, make sure you follow us on Twitter and join the Discord, and I'll be catching you guys in the next video. Dragonstar Production is out.